Well, Chairman Jordan said there were two kinds of music in his house growing up. He grew up in Ohio. He said country and Western. In the county I grew up in, Kentucky, the two kinds of music you could choose between were bluegrass and gospel. So that may just be Kentucky, or the part that I was in. I think anybody here could answer this question, but I'm going to go to Mr. Harrell. What is the Copyright Royalty Board, and what do they do?
Congressman, I'm going to pass on that question.
Oh, okay. Let me ask. Okay. I just want to ask somebody who knows or feels comfortable answering.
Well, I think this underscores some of the point, which is that when you are an operator of local stations, the complexity of everything happening in terms of where these copyright fees come from is just lost. What it means to a local station is the simplicity of what is the degree of the check that I'm writing, and how is it taking away from my ability to serve communities. But what the Copyright Royalty Board does is that for certain types of, in this case, public performances that have been designated by Congress, it sets a rate. So for non-interactive streaming services, Pandora is an example. If a broadcaster is simulcasting its over-the-air programming on the internet, the user can't just pick a song on demand the way that they can with Spotify. That falls into a category here where the Copyright Royalty Board, a three-judge panel within the Copyright Office, here's a case every 5 years to set rates.
And so, we've got an example here of White Christmas. Bing Crosby did it, Garth Brooks did it, and Bette Midler did it. I'm leaving some people out, I'm sure. Everybody's done it at home, right? But they're not trying to copyright. Would they all get paid the same price under the Copyright Royalty Board for all those versions? Are there different prices for each of those? Mr. Huppy.
Sure, thank you, Congressman. It depends on the system. The Copyright Royalty Board is a system that Congress set up. They've been using something like this. Maybe it had a different name, but they've been using this type of rate-setting tribunal for over 100 years. It's a system that operates in many areas of copyright law, both in the music area and others. And it's a system that has a lot of benefits to both parties. I think it's working fairly well. In fact, Congress reaffirmed their belief in this system just in 2018 with the Music Modernization Act, where they created a whole nother system and a whole nother right that is being administered by this panel of judges. So the idea behind it is to deal in a very efficient way with the entire industry plays.
So to my question, I'm thankful for that information, but would Garth Brooks and Bette Midler get the same fee price?
In general, for on the sound recording side, when the CRB operates with what Sound Exchange does, streaming radio on the digital world, artists are treated very fairly across the board.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
The answer is yes. They get the
so
same.
They're paid the same price, and right. You're saying fair, but everybody has a different version of fair.
Fair enough.
And so you said something before about mimicking the free market. I mean, if we're going to revisit things that have been assumed for 100 years, why should we assume a tribunal should be deciding what's fair? That doesn't sound American to me. In fact, I think if you went and asked the artists, we keep asking this question, who benefits under this regime and who benefits under the new regime? I bet if you asked 100 artists, performers would tell you, would break it down differently as to the benefit of the promotional aspect of it, or the royalties that they want to enjoy after they've quit making music. So when you get to a situation where everybody has a different answer, instead of mimicking the free market with the three-person tribunal, I mean, I'm just going to ask a crazy question: why not have a free market where an artist could decide, okay, is it benefit to me to play on radio for free? Or maybe, I'm sure Randy Travis would probably fetch a better price than my neighbor who thinks he can sing. But they would, could we have something where there are different prices? I mean, it just doesn't, we're comparing things to these dictatorships or whatever, and I'm wondering, where is the free market here, Mr. Leggett?
Well, certainly, as you point out, and thank you for the question, Congressman, as well as your support for the Local Radio Freedom Act, the CRB, where you've got a one-size-fits-all government-imposed fee, is not a free market, right? And the backstop to any free market negotiation outside of that is that CRB set rate, so that is not a free market. At the same time, when you're thinking about an industry like broadcast, where you have 15,000 stations across the country and literally thousands of different ownership groups, there are certainly some efficiencies gained by a bit of a one-stop shop here, right? And the idea that there would be individual marketplace negotiations between all of them would be difficult to achieve.
But 20 years ago, the idea that you'd be on the internet bidding against somebody on the other side of the world for something on eBay that should be at a flea market was inconceivable, or that you wouldn't have taxis, you'd be using a device in your hand. So anyways, I'm just saying, maybe there's a solution here we haven't thought of that involves the free market. With that, I yield back.
I thank the gentleman, and this is why we always have at least one libertarian on the committee.